So good morning. I wasn't going to do two videos today, but then I realised that we could get to part 4 if I did two. This one is going to be a little bit longer than usual, but it was either a longer one or two shorter videos, so I thought I'd go with Friday, get you set up for the weekend to this one a little bit longer, and then we're set to finish off probably with 3 videos next week. How exciting. So I think there's some action about to go down, as there is an officer in this part. Alright, let's get to it. Zoe Landon, 2:57 p.m. Deathcast called Zoe Landon at 12:34 a.m. to tell her she's going to die today. Zoe was lonely, having only moved to New York 8 days ago to begin classes at NYU today. She's barely unpacked her boxes, let alone made friends yet, but thankfully the last friend app was one click away. Her first message went to this boy Mateo, but he never responded. Maybe he died, maybe he ignored her message, maybe he found a last friend, like Zoe ultimately did. Zoe and Gabriella get on the train right before the doors close, dodging 2 boys to do so. They rush to the bench in the corner, halting when they see a paper-wrapped object sitting there. Rectangular. Every time Zoe enters a subway, there are all these signs encouraging her to say something if she sees something. She's seeing something. This is bad, Zoe says. You should get off at the next stop. Gabriella, fearless because she didn't receive the alert today, picks up the object. Zoe flinches. It's a book, Gabriella says. Oh, it's a surprise book. She sits and her eyes the illumination of a fleeing criminal. I love this art. Zoe sits next to her. She thinks the drawing is cute, but respects Gabriella's opinion. It's my turn to tell you a secret, Gabriella says, if you want. Zoe shared all of her secrets today with Gabriella, all of her secrets she made her childhood best friends Pinky swear to never tell another soul. All the heartbreaking ones she always kept to herself because speaking up was too hard. Together the two have laughed and cried, and they've been best friends their entire as if they've been best friends their entire lives. Your secret dies with me, Zoe says. She doesn't laugh, and neither does Gabriella, but she squeezes her hand to let her know she's going to be okay. A promise based on nothing but a gut instinct. Screw evidence of the afterlife. It's not a huge secret, but I'm Batman of the Manhattan graffiti world, Gabriella says. Oh, you had me really excited, Batman of the Manhattan graffiti world, Zoe says. I specialise in graffiti pushing last friends. In some places I'll draw with a marker like on menus and train posters, but my true love is graffiti. I've done tags for the last friends I've met anywhere I can. In the past week I've covered the walls with the cute silhouette from the app by McDonald's, 2 hospitals and a soup pot. I hope everyone uses it. Gabrielle taps her fingers against the book. At first look, Zoe thought the colours around her nails was a polish job gone terribly wrong, but she knows the truth now. Anyway, I love art, and I will tag a mailbox or something with your name. Maybe somewhere on the Broadway strip. I won't ever have my name in lights, but it'll be there, Zoe says. She pitches her request now. Her heart is full and empty at the thought. Passengers look up from their newspapers and phone games and stare at Zoe, indifference on one's face, pity on another's. Pure sadness from a black woman with this gorgeous afro. Sorry to lose you, the woman says. Thank you, Zoe says. The woman returns to her phone. Zoe scoots closer to Gabriella. I feel like I made this weird, she says, her voice quieter than before. Speak up while you can, Gabriella says. Let's see what that book is, Zoe says. She's curious. Open it. Gabriella hands Zoe the book. You open it. It's yours. It's my end day, not my birthday, Zoe says. I don't need a gift, and I'm not exactly going to read the book in the next. Zoe checks her watch and feels dizzy. She has, at most, 9 hours left, and she's a very slow reader. Consider this gift left behind by someone else, my gift to you. Thanks for being my last friend. The woman across looks up. Her eyes widen. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm really happy to hear your last friends. I'm happy you found someone on your end day. She gestures to Gabriella, and that you're helping make days full. It's beautiful. Gabriella wraps an arm around Zoe's shoulder and pulls her close. The two thank the women. Of course, Zoe meets the most welcoming New Yorkers on her end day. Let's open it together, Gabriella says, returning the attention to the book. Deal, Zoe says. Zoe hopes Gabriella continues befriending Deckers when she can. Life isn't meant to be lived alone, neither are end days. Mateo, 3:18 p.m. Seeing Lydia will be a huge risk, but it's one I want to take. The bus pulls up and we allow everyone else to get on first before boarding. I ask the bus driver if he received the alert today and he shakes his head. This ride should be safe. We can still die on the bus, yeah, but the odds of the bus being completely totaled and killing us while leaving everyone else severely injured seem pretty low. I borrow Rufus's phone so I can call Lydia. My phone's battery is dying, down close to 13%, and I want to make sure that the hospital can reach me in case my dad wakes up. I move to a different seat near the back of the bus and dial Lydia's number. Lydia picks up almost instantly, but there's still this pause before she answers. A lot like in the weeks after Christmas, after Christian died. Hello? Hi, I say. Mateo. I'm sorry, You blocked my number. I taught you how to do that. I had to. How could you not tell me? Mateo, I'm your fucking best friend. I'm your fucking best fucking friend. Penny, don't listen to mummy. And you don't fucking tell me you're dying. I didn't want... Shut up. Are you okay? How are you doing? I've always thought Lydia is like a coin being flipped in the air. Tails when she's so pissed, it's like she's turning her back on you, and heads when she sees you at her clearest. I think we've landed on heads, but who knows? I'm okay, Lydia. I'm with a friend. A new friend, I say. Who is this? How'd you meet her? The last friend up, I say, and his name is Rufus. He's a Decker too. I want to see you. Me too, that's why I'm calling. Any chance you could drop off Penny somewhere and meet me at the travel arena? Abuletta is already here. I called her freaking the fuck out hours ago and she came home from work. I'll go to the arena right now, but please get there safely. Don't run, walk. Walk slowly, except when you're crossing the street. Only cross when it's your light and only when there isn't a car in sight. Even if they're stopping at a red light or parked along the sidewalk. Actually, do not move. Where are you right now? I'm coming for you. Do not move unless someone around you looks shady. I'm on a bus with Rufus already, I say. 2 Deckers on one bus. Do you have a death wish? Mateo, those odds are insane. That thing could topple over. My face burns a little. I don't have a death wish, I quietly say. I'm sorry, I'm shutting up. Please be careful. I have to see you, I have to see you, okay? You'll see me and I'll see you, I promise. I don't want to hang up, she says. Me neither. We don't hang up. We could, we should, we probably use this time to talk about memories or find things to apologise for in case. I can't keep my promise, but nope, we talk about how Penny just hit herself on the head with a big toy and isn't crying, like the little soldier she is. A new memory to laugh over, just as good as reflecting on an old one. I think it may even be better. I don't want to kill Rufus's phone battery in case the Plutos reach out, so Lydia and I agree to hang up at the same time. Pressing end kills my mood and the world feels heavy again. Peck, 3:21 p.m. Peck is getting the gang back together, the gang with no name. Peck got his nickname because there's no power behind his punches, more annoying than harmful, like a bird pecking on you. If you want someone laid out, sick the knockout king on them. Peck is good with stomping someone out if the occasion calls for it, but Damien and Kendrick don't keep him around because he's an extra body. Peck's access to an end-all weapon makes him valuable. He walks towards his closet, feeling Damien's and Kendrick's eyes on his back. From here on, it's like a Russian nesting dolls, designed that way by Peck. He opens the closet, wondering if he has it in him. He opens the hamper, wondering if he's okay never seeing Amy again, knowing she'll never forgive him if he ever finds out he's responsible. He opens the last box, a shoebox, knowing he's got to respect himself for once. Peck will gain respect by unloading this gun into the one who disrespected him. What we do now, Damien asks. Peck opens up Instagram, goes on Rufus's profile and is pissed to find more comments from Amy saying how much she misses him. He keeps refreshing the account over and over. We wait. Mateo, 3:26 p.m. The rain turns into drizzle when the bus stops outside the World Travel Arena at 30th and 12th. I step off the bus first, and behind me there's a squeak and fuck. I turn in time to grab onto the steps railing so Rufus doesn't fall face first out of the bus and take me with him. He's a little muscular, so the weight hurts my shoulders, but Rufus helps situate us both. Wet floor, Rufus says. My bad. We're here. We're safe. We have each other's back. We'll stretch this day out as long as possible, like we're the summer solstice. The travel arena has always reminded me of the Museum of Natural History, except half as big and with international flags fixed along the edges of the dome. The Hudson River is a couple of blocks away, which I don't point out to Rufus. The maximum capacity of the arena is 3,000 people, which is more than perfect for deckers, their guests and those with incurable diseases and anyone else looking to enjoy the experience. We decide to get our tickets while waiting for Lydia. Our staff member assists us. The 3 lines are organised by urgency, as in those with sicknesses versus those of us dying today, by some unknown force versus bored visitors. It's easy figuring out our line with one look at the others. The line to our right is full of laughter, selfies and texting. The line to our left has none of that. There's a young woman with a scarf wrapped around her head leaning against her oxygen tank. Others are wheezing terribly. Some are disfigured or badly burned. The sadness chokes me. Not only for them and not even for myself, but for the others ahead of us in our line, who were woken up from their safe lives and will hurtle into danger in the next few hours, maybe even minutes. And then there are those who never got this far in the day. Why can't we have a chance? I asked Rufus. A chance at what? He's looking around, taking pictures of the arena and the lines. A chance at another chance, I say. Why can't we knock on death's door and beg or barter or arm wrestle or have a staring contest for the chance to keep living? I've even want to fight for the chance to decide how I die. I'd go in my sleep, and I would only go to sleep after I've lived bravely, as the kind of person someone would want to wrap their arm around, who would maybe even nuzzle against my chin or shoulder and go on and on about how happy we were to be alive with each other without question. Rufus lowers his phone and looks me in the eyes. You really think you can beat death in an arm wrestling match? I laugh and look away from him because the eye contact is warming my face. An Uber pulls up and Lydia storms out of the back seat. She's frantically looking around for me, and even though today isn't her end day, I'm still nervous when a bike rider almost clips her, like he'll knock her unconscious and she'll find herself in hospital with Dad. Lydia! I run out of the line as her eyes find me. I almost trip in my excitement, like I haven't seen her in years. She throws her arm around me and squeezes, almost as if she herself has pulled me out of a sinking car, or caught me after I've fallen out of a crashing plane. She says everything in this hug, every thank you, every I love you, every apology. I squeeze her back to thank her, to make her feel my love, to apologise, and everything else that falls deep inside the skirts outside these realms. It's the sweetest moment in our friendship since she handed me Penny as a newborn. Lydia steps back and slaps me hard across the face. You should have told me. Lydia pulls me back into another hug. My cheek stings, but I dig my chin into her shoulder, and she smells like whatever cinnamon thing she must have fed Penny today, because she hasn't changed out of her baggy shirt I last saw her in. In our hug we sway, and I search for Rufus in line, and he's clearly shocked by the slap. It's weird how Rufus doesn't know this is Lydia at her core, how, like I said, she's a coin, constantly flipping. It's strange how I've only known Rufus for a day. I know, I tell Lydia, you know I'm sorry, and I was only trying to protect you. You're supposed to be with me forever, Lydia cries. You're supposed to be around to play bad cop when Penny brings a crush home for the first time. You're supposed to keep me company with card games and bad TV marathons when she leaves for college. You're supposed to be around to vote for Penny to become president, because you know she's such a control freak already and she won't be happy until she's ruling the country. God knows she'll send her soul to take over the whole world, and you're supposed to be there to help me stop her from making Faustian deals. I don't know what to say. I go back and forth between nodding and shaking my head because I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Lydia squeezes my shoulder. Maybe it is. Maybe if I wasn't hiding I'd have street smarts or something. It's early to be blaming myself, but maybe it's going to be my fault. Lydia, this day has sort of felt like being thrust out of the wilderness with all the supplies I'd need to survive and no idea how to even make a fire. Shut your face, Lydia demands. It's not your fault. We failed you. Now you shut your face. That's the rudest thing you've ever said, Lydia said with a smile, like I had promised to be mean all along. The world isn't the safest place ever. We know that because of Christian and everyone else dying on the daily, but I should have shown you some risks are worth it. Sometimes you have a child who you love more than anything unexpectedly. This was one way she showed me. I'm taking risks today, I say, and I want you here because it's so much harder for you to break out and be adventurous with Penny in your life. You've always wanted to see the world, and since we're not going to get a chance in this lifetime to go on road trips, I'm happy we can travel together right now. I hold her hand and I nod towards Rufus. Lydia turns to Rufus with the same nervous face she had when we were sitting in her bathroom with her pregnancy test, and just like then, before she flipped over the stick to see the result, she says, "Let's do this." She squeezes my hand, which Rufus focuses on. "Hey, what's up?" Rufus asks. "Better days, obviously," Lydia says. "This fucking sucks. I'm so sorry." "Not your fault," Rufus says. Lydia stares at me like she's still surprised I'm in front of her. We reach for the front of the line, and the teller dressed in cheerful yellow vest solemnly smiles. "Welcome to World Travel Arena. Sorry to lose you three." "I'm not dying," Lydia corrects. "Oh, cost for guest is going to be $100, the teller says. He looks at me and Rufus. Suggested donation is $1 for deckers. I pay for all our tickets, donating an extra couple of $100 in the hope that the arena remains open for many, many years. What the arena provides for deckers seems incomparable, way better than the Make a Moment station. The teller thanks us for our donation and doesn't seem surprised by it. Deckers are always throwing their money around, and Rufus and I receive yellow wristbands for healthy deckers, and Lydia an orange one for visitor, and we proceed in. We stay close, not wandering too far from one another. The main entrance is a little crowded, as deckers and visitors looking up at the gigantic screen listing all the regions you can visit and the different kinds of tours available. Around the world in 80 minutes, miles of wilds, journey to the centre of the United States, and more. "Should we go on a tour?" Rufus says. "I'm game for any of them except you, me, and the deep blue sea." "The Around the World in 80 Minutes tour starts in 10, I say. "I'd love that," Lydia says, her arm locked in mine. She turns to Rufus, embarrassed. "Sorry. Oh, my God. Sorry, really. It's whatever you two want. I don't get a vote. Sorry." "It's okay," I say. "Rufus, you cool with this?" Around the world we go, yo. We find room 16 and settle into a double-decker trolley with 20 other people. Rufus and I are the only deckers with yellow wristbands. There are 6 deckers with blue wristbands. Online, I've followed many deckers with incurable illnesses who take it upon themselves to travel the real countries and cities while they still have time, but those who can't afford to do settle for the next best thing with the rest of us. The driver stands in the aisle and speaks through her headset. "Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful tour, where we'll travel the world in 80 minutes, give or take 10. I'm Leslie, and I'll be your tour guide. On behalf of everyone on World Travel Arena, I offer my condolences to you and your family. I hope our trip today manages to put a smile on your face and leaves a wonderful memory for any guests joining you. At some point you'd like to linger in any region, you're more than welcome, but please be advised the tour will have to keep moving if we're to finish travelling the world in under 80 minutes. Now, if everyone would please fasten your seat belts, we'll take off." Everyone buckles up and we set off. I'm no cartographer, but even I know the destination grid behind each seat looks similar to the electronic maps on the subway. Isn't geographically correct. Still, it's an unbelievable time with unbelievable convincing replicas in each room, made even better by Lydia sharing fun facts about each location she learned from her own studies. We move down a railway where we see the deckers and guests enjoying themselves, some even waving at us like we're not all tourists here. In London we pass the Palace of Westminster, where Amy says it's illegal to die there. But my favourite part is hearing the bell of Big Ben chime, even if seeing the hands on the clock snaps me back into reality. In Jamaica, we're greeted by dozens of large butterflies and the giant swallowtail as people sitting on the floor eat special dishes like ackee and saltfish. In Africa, we see a giant fish tank with inhabitants from Lake Malawi, and I'm so enraptured by the blues and yellows swimming around that I almost missed the live feed on the wall of a lioness carrying her cub by the scruff of its neck. In Cuba, we see guests competing against Cubans in dominoes. And a line for sugar cubes, and Rufus cheers for his roots in Australia. There are exotic flowers, kite races, complimentary koala plush toys for any children. In Iraq, the sounds of the national bird, the chukka partridge, play over the speakers, discreetly hidden behind the merchant carts, offering beautiful silk scarves and shirts. In Colombia, Lydia tells us about the country's perpetual summer, and we're tempted to grab a drink from the juice vendors. In Egypt, there are only two pyramid replicas. And since the room has a dry heat, the employers are offering Nile River banned water bottles. In China, Lydia jokes about how she heard reincarnation is forbidden here without government permission, and I don't want to think about that, so I focus on the lit up skyscraper replicas and people playing table tennis. In South Korea, we see a couple of orange-yellow robots used in classroom robo-teachers, they're called, and deckers having their faces made up. In Puerto Rico, the trolley stops for 40-second break, and Rufus tugs at my arm and ushers me elsewhere, Lydia following. What's going on, I ask, over the chorus of tiny tree frogs. It's unclear if they're actually here or just recording the sounds of wildlife. Are so jarring since I'm only used to sirens and cars honking that hearing the people talking by the rum cart comforts me. We talked about how you want to do something exhilarating if you ever had the chance to travel, right? Rufus says. I've been keeping an eye out for something on this tour, and look, he points at the sign by a tunnel, Rainforest Jump. I don't know what it means, but it's got to be better than fake skydive earlier. You went skydiving, Lydia asks. Her tone is both, are you crazy, and I'm super jealous. She's possessive in the most nurturing big sister way possible. The three of us walk along the beige tiles, sprinkling actual sand around to the tunnel. An arena employee hands us a brochure for the unique rainforest room and offers us an audio tour, while admitting we'll miss out on some of the more natural music of the area if we do. We pass on the headphones and walk through the tunnel, where the air is moist and warm. The crowded trees withstand the drizzle as an artificial sunlight filters through the thick leaves. We walk around the twisting trunks, going off the beaten path towards the trilling croaks of more tree frogs. Dad told me stories about how when he was my age, he'd race up the trees with his friends, catch frogs and sell them to other kids who wanted pets, and sometimes just sit with his thoughts. The deeper we go in, the more frog song is replaced by sounds of people and a waterfall. I mistake the latter for a recording until we pass through a clearing, and I find water spilling off a 20-foot high cliff into a pool with shirtless deckers and lifeguards. This must be the advertised rainforest jump. Don't know why I thought it was going to be something lamer, like jumping from rock to rock on even ground. I've seen so much already that the idea of leaving this arena is sharper than that of this day ending. Like being ripped out of a dream you've waited your entire life to have. But I'm not dreaming, I'm awake and I'm going for it. My daughter hates the rain, Lydia tells Rufus. She hates anything she can't control. She'll come round, I say. We walk towards the edge of the cliff where deckers are jumping. A petite girl with a blue wristband and a headscarf and floaties does something dangerous at the very last second. She turns around and falls backwards, like someone pushed off a building. A lifeguard below whistles and the others swim to the centre where she splashed through. She returns to the surface, laughing, and it looks like the lifeguards are scolding her, but she doesn't care. How could anyone on a day like today? Rufus, 4:24 p.m. For all the mouth I ran about being brave, I'm not sure about this jump. I haven't set foot onto a beach or gone inside a community pool since my family died. The closest I've come to big bodies of water like this before today was when Amy was fishing in the East River, and that led to a nightmare of me fishing for my family's car in the Hudson River. Reeling up their skeletons in the clothes they died in reminded me how I abandoned them. You're all good to go here, Mateo? Gonna have to veto this for myself. You should skip this too, Lydia tells him. I know I have no real say here, but veto, 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 veto. Mad props to Mateo for getting in line anyway. I want this for him. There aren't any more croaking frogs, so I know he heard me. This kid has changed. I know you're paying attention, but look at him. He's in line to leap off a cliff. And I bet you anything he can't even swim. He turns and waves us over, like he's inviting us to line for a roller coaster. Come on, Mateo says, eyeing me. Or we can go back to make a moment and swim around one of their pools if you want. I honestly think you'll feel better about everything if you get back in the water. Me coaching you through something is weird, right? It's a little ass backward, yeah, I say. I'll make it short. We don't need those make-a-moment stations and their virtual realities. We can make our own moment right here, in this artificial rainforest. I smile back. I made no claims to this place being real. The arena attendant tells Mateo he's next. Is it cool if my friends and I jump together, Mateo asks. Absolutely, she responds. I'm not going, Lydia says. Yes, you are, Mateo says. You'll regret it if you don't. I should push you off the cliff, I tell Mateo, but I won't because you're right. I can take on my fear, especially in a controlled environment like this with lifeguards and arm floaties. No one planned for a swim, so we stripped down to our underwear and yo, I had no idea how damn skinny Mateo is. He avoids looking my way, which I find funny. Unlike Lydia, in nothing but her bra and jeans, who's looking me up and down, the attendants give us our gear. I'm calling the floaties gear because it sounds less cute, and we slip it on. The attendant tells us to jump when we're comfortable, which shouldn't be too long since the line is forming behind us. Count of 3, Mateo asks. Yeah. 1, 2, I grab Mateo's hand and lock my fingers in his. He turns to me with flushed cheeks and grabs Lydia's hand. 3! We all look ahead and below and we jump. I feel like I'm falling through the air faster, dragging Mateo with me. Mateo shouts, and in a few seconds I have left before hitting the water. I shout too, and Lydia cheers. I hit the water, Mateo is still beside me, and we're underwater for only a few seconds, but I open my eyes and see him there. He's not panicking, and it reminds me of how settled my parents looked after they set me up for freedom. Lydia has disconnected. She's already out of sight, and Mateo and I float back to the top with our hands still locked. Lifeguards flanking us. I move towards Mateo laughing, and I hug him for his freedom he's forced onto me. For this freedom. It's like I've been baptized or some shit. Ditching more anger and sadness and blame and frustration beneath the surface where they can sink to who cares where. The waterfall pummels the water around us, and a lifeguard ushers us to the hill. An attendant at the bottom of the hill offers us towels, and Mateo wraps his around his shoulders, shivering. How do you feel, he asks. Not bad, I say. We don't bring up the hand holding or anything like that, but hopefully he gets where I'm coming from now in case he had any doubts. We head up to the top of the hill, drying ourselves with towels, and retrieve our clothes and get dressed. We exit through the gift shop, where I catch Mateo singing along with the song on the radio. I call Mateo as he picks up on the farewell cards I offered here. You made me jump, and now it's your turn. I jumped with you. Not what I'm talking about. Come with me to this underground dance club place. Deckers go there to dance, sing and chill. You down? Officer Andrade. 4:32 p.m. Deathcast did not call Ariel Andrade because he isn't dying today. But since he's an officer of the law, getting the call is his greatest fear every night when the clock strikes midnight, especially since losing his partner 2 months ago. He and Graham could have been a buddy cop movie, the way they handled business and traded dad jokes over beers. Graham is always on Andrade's mind, and today is no exception, with these foster kids in the holding cell who are acting out because their brother is a Decker. You don't need matching DNA for someone to be your brother. Andrade knows this, and you definitely don't need the same blood to lose a part of yourself when someone dies. Andrade doesn't believe the Decker. Rufus and Mateo, who he stops pursuing in the early morning hours, is going to be trouble, if he's still alive. He's always had a sixth sense for Deckers who will spend their final hours creating chaos, like the Decker responsible for Graham's death. On the day Graham received his alert, he insisted on spending his end day working. If he could die saving lives, it was better way to go than one last lay. The officers were pursuing a Decker who was signing up for bangers, the challenge for online feeds that has had a heartbreaking amount of daily hits and downloads the past 4 months. People tune in every hour to watch Deckers kill themselves in the most unique way possible, to go out with a bang. The most popular death wins the Deckers family some decent riches from an unknown source, but for the most part it's just a bunch of Deckers who don't kill themselves creatively enough to please the viewers, and well, you don't exactly get a second shot. Graham's attempts to prevent a Decker from riding his motorcycle off the Williamsburg Bridge only got himself killed. Andrade is doing his damn best to get that snuff channel terminated by the end of the year. No way in hell he can share a beer with Graham in heaven without getting this job done. Andrade wants to focus on his real work, not babysitting. That's why he has the foster parents signing release forms this very second. Let them go home with firm warnings so they can sleep and grieve, maybe even find their friend if he's still alive. If you're close enough to a Decker when they die, you won't be able to put words to anything for the longest time, but few regret spending every possible minute with them while they were still alive. Patrick Peck Gavin, 4:59 p.m. Maybe he's dead already. Peck has notifications turned on for Rufus's Instagram, but stays personally locked on anyway. Come on. Peck wants Rufus dead, of course, but he wants to deliver the killing blow. Rufus, 5:01 p.m. The line for the Clint's graveyard isn't as long as it was last night when I was headed back to Pluto. Not even going to start speculating if this means everyone is inside or if they've gone and died already, but it's got to be the greatest club, hands down, for Mateo. They better let me in, even though I don't turn 18 for another few weeks. Weird coming to a club at 5, Lydia says. My phone goes off and I'm banking on it being Amy when I see Malcolm's dead-ass ugly profile pic. The Plutos, oh shit. Plutos, Lydia asks. His best friends, Mateo says, which doesn't really scratch the surface on who they are to me, but I let it slide because this is so wild. Even Mateo is tearing up for me. I bet I'd be the same way if his dad called him right now. I answer FaceTime walking from the line. Malcolm and Tago are together. Legit surprised, I answered. They're smiling at me like they want to tag team bang me. Roof, holy shit, I say. You're alive, Malcolm says. You're not locked up. They can't hold us, Tago says, fighting for space so he can be seen too. You see us? Screw all of this, Roof. Where are you at? Malcolm is squinting, looking beyond my head. I have no idea where they're at either. I'm at Clint's. I can give them a better goodbye. I can hug them. Can you guys get here soon? Making it past 5 has been a fucking miracle, but time is running out, no doubt. Mateo is holding Lydia's hand, and I want my best friends here too. All of them. Ruth, holy shit, I say. You're alive, Malcolm says. You're not locked up. They can't hold us, Tago says, fighting for space so he can be seen too. You see us? Screw all this, Roof. Where are you at? Malcolm is squinting, looking beyond my head. I have no idea where they're at either. I'm at Clint's. I can give them a better goodbye. I can hug them. Can you guys get here soon? Making it past 5 has been a fucking miracle. But time is running out. No doubt. Mateo is holding Lydia's hand, and I want my best friends here too. All of them. Can you grab Amy too? Not that arsehole Peck. I'll beat his ass again if there was a lesson I was supposed to learn here. I didn't. Dude ruined my funeral and got my friends locked up. I get to deck him again, and I don't try to tell me I'm wrong. He's lucky you're still alive, Malcolm says. We'd be spending our night hunting him down if you weren't. Don't leave Clint's, Tago says. We'll be there in 20 minutes, smelling like prison. Funny how Tago swears he's a hardened criminal now. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here with a friend. Just get here, all right? You'd better be there, Roof, Malcolm says. I know what he's really saying. I better be alive. I take a photo of the sign for Clint's graveyard and upload it onto Instagram in full colour. Patrick, Peck, Gavin, 5:05 p.m. Got him, Peck says, hopping off his bed. Clint's graveyard. He puts the loaded gun in his backpack. We gotta be fast. Let's go.